Speed is a 1994 American action thriller film directed by Jan de Bont in his feature directorial debut, and written by Graham Yost. Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, and Sandra Bullock star in the film, alongside Joe Morton and Jeff Daniels in supporting roles. The plot centers on a city bus rigged by a vengeful extortionist Howard Payne, Hopper, to explode if its speed drops below 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers per hour. Reeves plays LAPD officer Jack Traven, who is tasked with preventing the disaster, with Bullock portraying a passenger who becomes unexpectedly involved in the mission. The film was largely inspired by Runaway Train, 1985, and also has parallels with the Japanese-language action thriller film The Bullet Train, 1975. For screenwriter Graham Yost was told by his father, Canadian television host L.Y. Yost, about a 1985 film called Runaway Train starring Jon Voight, about a train that speeds out of control. L.Y. mistakenly believed that the train's situation was due to a bomb on board. Such a theme had in fact been used in The Bullet Train. After seeing the Voight film, Graham decided that it would have been better if there had been a bomb on board a bus, with the bus being forced to travel at 20 miles per hour to prevent an actual explosion. A friend suggested that this be increased to 50 miles per hour. 5. Speed premiered on June 7, 1994, and was released on June 10, 1994, by 20th Century Fox. The film received positive reviews from critics and grossed roughly $350 million worldwide against a $30 to $37 million budget, becoming the fifth highest grossing film of 1994. At the 67th Academy Awards, Speed won Best Sound. The film also won Best Sound and Best Editing at the 48th British Academy Film Awards. A sequel, Speed 2, Cruise Control, was released on June 13, 1997, but performed poorly and was critically lambasted, receiving widespread criticism for Reeves's absence and the film's change in setting. Plot: LAPD SWAT bomb disposal officers Jack Traven and Harry Temple are tasked with preventing a bombing on a city elevator containing 13 people, masterminded by an extortionist, Howard Payne. After narrowly rescuing the passengers, the duo hunt down Payne, during which Harry is wounded to stop Payne from taking him hostage. Payne seemingly blows himself up, and Jack and Harry are later awarded medals in a ceremony. It is revealed that Payne had faked his death and has become personally bitter towards Jack. After destroying a bus to divert Jack's attention, Payne contacts him with a new scheme, a bomb planted on a second city bus, a 1964 GMC New Look, that will activate upon reaching 50 miles per hour, 80 kilometers per hour, and detonate if the speed goes below 50, but is also set to go off sometime before noon. He also warns Jack not to offload passengers or the bus will explode. Jack receives a demand from Payne, $3.7 million in ransom or the bomb will go off. Racing through traffic, Jack gets a ride from a Jaguar owner named Maurice to warn the bus driver of the bomb. Realizing the vehicle has surpassed 50 and the bomb is armed, Jack boards the bus, but a felon's panic leads to the driver, Sam, being shot. A passenger, Annie Porter, takes over the driving. With the bomb armed and passengers aware of the threat, Jack contacts Harry for help while trying to keep the bus moving. Payne agrees to allow Sam to be offloaded as a sign of good faith. A passenger, Helen, panics and attempts to get off the bus, but Payne sets off a smaller bomb, causing her to fall out and be killed. Despite Payne's constant surveillance, Jack and Annie maneuver the bus through several dangerous obstacles, including a gap in the freeway, and direct it to Los Angeles International Airport to prevent traffic issues. Meanwhile, Harry discovers that Payne is a former Atlanta Police Department bomb squad officer who was placed on administrative leave after losing a thumb. The bomb's design reflects his long-lasting bitterness over being undercompensated with nothing but a cheap gold watch. Harry leads a SWAT team to arrest him. However, Payne's house has been rigged with explosives, and Harry and his teammates are killed in the blast. In a last-ditch effort to defuse the bomb, Jack goes under the bus on a tethered roller bed, but the cable snaps. he is helped on board by the passengers. In the process, he punctures the fuel tank and the bus starts leaking gasoline. Jack is left hopeless until he notices that Payne is monitoring the bus through a hidden camera, giving Payne the upper hand at every moment. By looping the surveillance footage, Jack buys enough time for the passengers to escape before the bus crashes and explodes into a cargo plane. While noticing the LAPD has dropped off the ransom and is waiting to apprehend him, Payne sees the looped video footage and seeks revenge. Before they can take Annie home, the SWAT team travels to the drop-off point and tries to keep her out of sight. Payne kidnaps Annie while posing as a police officer. Jack discovers a hole under the trash can, where Payne has taken the ransom and accessed the subway system. Jack finds Annie wearing an explosive vest. After a confrontation between Payne and Jack, Payne escapes on a train with Annie. Payne shoots the driver and train controls. Payne opens the duffel bag containing the money and a dye pack explodes in his face. An enraged Payne fights Jack on the train roof, only to be decapitated by a passing overhead signal when Jack pushes him towards the roof of the tunnel. Jack deactivates the vest from Annie, but finds that the train cannot be stopped. Jack instead accelerates the train, causing it to derail and crash onto Hollywood Boulevard, and screeches to a halt in front of a tour van. Jack and Annie emerge unscathed and share a kiss as onlookers watch in amazement. Cast: Keanu Reeves as LAPD Officer Jack Traven, Dennis Hopper as Howard Payne, Sandra Bullock as Annie Porter, Joe Morton as LAPD Lieutenant Herb McMahon, Jeff Daniels as LAPD Detective Harry Temple, Alan Ruck as Doug Stevens, Glenn Plummer as Maurice the Jaguar owner, Beth Grant as Helen, Hawthorne James as Sam Silver, Carlos Carrasco as Ortiz, David Kriegel as Terry, Natsuko Ahama as Mrs. Kamino, Daniel Villarreal as Ray, Margaret Medina as Officer Robin, Jordan Lund as Bagwell, Robert Mailhouse as Young Executive, Patrick Fischler as Bob, Friend of Executive, Patrick John Hurley as CEO, Susan Barnes as Female Executive, Nisha Folks Lamel as Mrs. McMahon, Richard Lineback as Sergeant Norwood, Bo Starr as Commissioner, Richard Schiff as Hug, Train Driver, John Capodice as Bob, Bus Driver, Thomas Rosales Jr. as Vinny, Sandy Martin as Bartender. Production: part of the film featured the bus making its way onto Interstate 110 through the traffic. Writing: screenwriter Graham Yost was inspired to write Speed after hearing about the 1985 film Runaway Train from his father, Canadian television host L.Y. Yost. L.Y. mistakenly believed the train's out-of-control situation was caused by a bomb, leading Graham to think that such a concept would work better on a bus. He initially envisioned a bomb that would detonate if the bus dropped below 20 miles per hour, but a friend suggested raising the speed limit to 50 miles per hour. 6. The film's ending was inspired by the 1976 film Silver Streak. Originally titled Minimum Speed, Yost renamed it Speed to avoid negative connotations associated with minimum. 7. Yost's initial draft had the entire film set on the bus, with no elevator or subway sequences. The bus was meant to drive around Dodger Stadium and ultimately crash into the Hollywood sign. 7. After finishing the script, Yost presented it to Paramount Pictures, which showed interest and suggested John McTiernan to direct. However, McTiernan declined, feeling the script was too similar to Die Hard, 1988, and recommended Jan de Bont instead. De Bont, who had been the director of photography for action films like Die Hard and The Hunt for Red October, 1990, agreed to direct. Michael Bay had also expressed interest in directing. 8. Paramount ultimately passed on the project, believing audiences wouldn't want to watch a film set almost entirely on a bus. Yost and de Bont then pitched the film to 20th Century Fox, who agreed to greenlight the project but requested additional action sequences beyond the bus. 9. De Bont suggested starting the movie with a bomb on an elevator, drawing from his own experience of being trapped in an elevator while working on Die Hard. 9. Yost used this opening to establish the cleverness of LAPD SWAT officer Jack Traven, inspired by Perseus' deception with Medusa. 7. De Bont also suggested concluding the film with a subway sequence to provide a final twist, which Fox approved. 7-9. Joss Whedon was brought in a week before filming began to rework the dialogue and improve the script. Whedon made significant contributions, including transforming Jack Traven's character from a maverick hotshot into a more earnest and polite officer, removing forced one-liners, and creating the iconic line, "Pop quiz, hotshot." 7-10-11. Whedon also reworked minor characters, such as turning Doug Stevens, Alan Ruck, from an unpleasant lawyer into a hapless tourist. 10. Additionally, the character of Harry Temple was originally intended to be the film's villain, but once Dennis Hopper was cast as Howard Payne, this role was adjusted, and Temple's character remained non-complicit. 7. Casting. When Speed was under development at Paramount Pictures, Jeff Speakman was originally attached to star in the lead role. However, after the project was acquired by 20th Century Fox, Speakman was dropped. 12. Stephen Baldwin was initially offered the role of Jack Traven but declined, citing the character's similarity to John McClane from Die Hard, 1988. 11. Richard Grieco also turned down the role, later expressing regret over his decision. 13. Other actors considered for the part included Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Wesley Snipes, and Woody Harrelson. 7. Director Jan de Bont ultimately cast Keanu Reeves after seeing his performance in Point Break, 1991, believing that Reeves projected a balance of vulnerability and strength. 11. Reeves underwent physical training and cut his hair short for the role, a decision that initially concerned the studio. 11. He also starred in River's Edge, 1986, with Hopper. The character of Annie was originally written as an African-American paramedic to justify her ability to drive the bus. The role was first offered to Halle Berry, who declined, but later expressed regret over her decision. 7-14. As the character evolved into a comic relief sidekick, Ellen DeGeneres was considered for the part. 15. Eventually, the role was rewritten as a love interest for Jack Traven, leading to the casting of Sandra Bullock. Bullock auditioned alongside Reeves to ensure their on-screen chemistry, which involved performing physically demanding scenes. 16. Meryl Streep, Kim Basinger, and Anne Heche were also offered or considered for the role but declined. 17-18. Filming. Principal photography for Speed commenced on September 7, 1993, and concluded on December 23, 1993, in Los Angeles. Director Jan de Bont used an 80-foot model of a 50-story elevator shaft for the film's opening sequence. 19. During production, River Phoenix, a close friend of actor Keanu Reeves, died. 11. In response, de Bont adjusted the shooting schedule to accommodate Reeves, giving him less demanding scenes. De Bont noted that the loss deeply affected Reeves, making him quieter and emotionally withdrawn. Initially hesitant about the film's action sequences, Reeves expressed to de Bont, "I'm not an action hero. I don't like it. I don't know how to do it," which de Bont saw as an advantage, believing it paralleled Reeves' character, who was thrust into an extraordinary situation. 11. As production progressed, Reeves became more involved with his stunts, even secretly rehearsing the Jaguar to bus jump, which he later performed himself, against de Bont's disapproval. 20. The production used 11 GM New Look buses, TDH 5303, and 3 Grumman 870 buses. 21-22. Two of these buses were destroyed in explosions, while others were adapted for specific scenes, including high-speed sequences, interior shots, and under-bus scenes. The bus jump scene was filmed in one take using a specially rigged bus equipped with a ramp to allow for liftoff. The driver was suspended in a shock-absorbing harness to prevent injury during the landing. 23. The film's fictionalized bus route, 33 Downtown, was modeled after the real-life Big Blue bus serving Santa Monica. 21. One of the buses used in the film was auctioned for $102,000 in 2018. 24. 11 GM New Look buses were used to represent the bus in the film. Displayed at Tokyo Comic Con 2024. Many of the freeway scenes were shot on California's Interstate 105 and Interstate 110, specifically at the Judge Harry Pregerson interchange, which was under construction at the time of filming. De Bont noticed unfinished sections of the freeway during a location scout and suggested adding a bus jump to the script. 19. The scene where the bus jumps over an incomplete freeway was achieved using a ramp to give the vehicle the necessary lift. 25. Computer-generated imagery, CGI, was later used to create the appearance of a gap in the freeway, aided by Sony Pictures ImageWorks. 23. A 2009 episode of Mythbusters tested the feasibility of the bus jump and concluded that it was impossible under real-world conditions. 26. De Bont revealed in a DVD commentary that the bus jump stunt did not go as planned on the first attempt. The stunt driver missed the ramp, damaging the bus beyond repair. A second bus was prepared, and a successful jump was filmed 2 days later, although it traveled further than expected and destroyed one of the cameras set up to capture the landing. Fortunately, another camera, placed 90 feet from the jump ramp, recorded the stunt. The film's final scenes were shot at Mojave Airport, MHV/KMHV, which stood in for Los Angeles International Airport. Shots of the LaCanto Metro Red Line during the film's climactic subway sequence were created using an 1/8 scale model, except for the train derailment jump. 23. The MD-520N helicopter featured in the film, registration N599DB, was later sold to the Calgary Police Service in 1995 and remained in use until 2006, after which it was sold to a private owner. 27-28. Music. Further information, Speed, Soundtrack. Soundtrack. A soundtrack album featuring songs from and inspired by the film was released on June 28, 1994, with the following tracks. 29. The soundtrack was commercially successful in Japan, being certified gold by the RIAJ in 2002. 30. Score. Michael Kamen was initially considered to compose the score of the movie. However, De Bont chose Mark Mancina, who at the time worked in some Hans Zimmer scores like Days of Thunder, Where Sleeping Dogs Lie and True Romance. 31. In addition to the soundtrack release, a separate album featuring 40 minutes of Mark Mancina's score from the film was released on August 30, 1994, by 20th Century Fox Film Scores. 32. La La Land Records and Fox Music released a limited expanded version of Mark Mancina's score on February 28, 2012. 33. The newly remastered release features 69:25 of music spread over 32 tracks, in chronological order. In addition, it includes the song Speed by Billy Idol. 33. Reception. Box office. Speed was released on June 10, 1994, in 2,138 theaters across the United States and Canada. It debuted at number 1 at the US box office, surpassing the Flintstones and City Slickers 2, The Legend of Cully's Gold, and grossing $14.5 million in its opening weekend. 34-35 Speed held the number 1 position for a week before being overtaken by Wolf, generating $12.9 million in its second weekend. 36-37 in its third weekend, despite the debut of The Lion King, the film retained second place at the box office, collecting an additional $12.4 million. 38 It enjoyed prolonged success in international markets, staying number 1 for 8 consecutive weeks in Australia and 10 weeks in Japan. 39-40 The film set opening records for 20th Century Fox in South Korea with $216,077, Brazil with $669,725, and South Africa with $267,140. 41-42-43. Overall, Speed grossed $121.3 million in the United States and Canada, with an additional $229.2 million internationally, for a total worldwide gross of $350.5 million. This far exceeded its production budget, estimated between $30 million and $37 million. 312 The film remains Sandra Bullock's highest-grossing film until being surpassed by Gravity in 2013. 44. Critical response. On review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, Speed holds a 95% approval rating based on 78 reviews, with an average rating of 8.10/10. The site's consensus reads, "A terrific popcorn thriller, Speed is taut, tense, and energetic, with outstanding performances from Keanu Reeves, Dennis Hopper, and Sandra Bullock." 45. On Metacritic, it has a weighted average score of 78 out of 100, based on 17 critics, indicating generally favorable reviews. 46 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A+ to F scale. 47. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times awarded the film 4 out of 4 stars, describing it as manic exhilaration and praised Reeves's transition into a credible action hero, while also commending Hopper's performance as the film's villain. 48 On their TV show, Ebert's colleague Gene Siskel praised Reeves as absolutely compelling and said that all of the sequences work. Both critics enthusiastically agreed that the film was a lot of fun. 49. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone remarked that Speed works like a charm, highlighting its entertainment value. 50. Janet Maslin of the New York Times praised Hopper's portrayal of crazy menace and noted the film's swift pacing, which left little room for character development but maintained momentum. 51. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly gave the film an A rating, lauding director Jan de Bont's craftsmanship, and Richard Schickel of Time noted the film's ability to tap into common anxieties, calling it an effective thriller. 52. 53. The film has also received long-term recognition. Quentin Tarantino named Speed as one of the top 20 films he had seen between 1992 and 2009. 54. 55. Entertainment Weekly ranked the film 8th on its list of the best sock M movies of the past 25 years. 56. Empire included Speed in its 500 greatest movies of all time list in 2008, ranking it number 451. 57. In 2017, BBC's Mark Kermode revisited the film and declared it a timeless masterpiece, praising its enduring appeal as an action classic. 58. In 2025, The Hollywood Reporter listed Speed as having the best stunts of 1994. 59. Home media. On November 15, 1994, Fox Video released Speed on VHS and Laserdisc formats for the first time. Rental and video sales did very well and helped the film's domestic gross. The original VHS cassette was only available in standard 4:3 TV format at the time. On August 20, 1996, Fox Video re-released a VHS version of the film in widescreen alongside True Lies, The Abyss, and The Last of the Mohicans, allowing the viewer to see the film in a similar format to its theatrical release. 60. On November 3, 1998, 20th Century Fox Home Entertainment released Speed on DVD for the first time. The DVD contains the film in widescreen format, but only has the film's theatrical trailer. 61. A special 2-disc collector's edition DVD was released on July 30, 2002, as part of Fox Home Entertainment's 5-star collection series. 62. This THX certified DVD release included 2 commentaries, one with director Jan de Bont and another with writer Graham Yost and producer Mark Gordon, a DTS 5.1 audio track and various behind-the-scenes featurettes. 63. 64 other special features included trailers, deleted scenes, galleries, and a music video. 63. 65 This edition was re-released as part of Fox Home's award series on February 7, 2006. 66. A Blu-ray disc edition was released on November 14, 2006, being part of the first wave releases on the format from 20th Century Fox. This edition includes the 2 commentaries from the Special Collector's Edition, a trivia track, the theatrical trailer and an interactive game. 67. 20th Century Studios and Walt Disney Studios Home Entertainment released the film on Ultra HD Blu-ray on May 4, 2021. This edition retains the commentaries and most of the special features from the 2002 Special Collector's Edition DVD release. Keanu Charles Reeves /Keanu 07, born September 2, 1964, is a Canadian actor and musician. The recipient of numerous accolades in a career on screen spanning 4 decades, he is known for his leading roles in action films, his amiable public image, and his philanthropic efforts. In 2020, the New York Times ranked him as the 4th greatest actor of the 21st century, and in 2022, Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world. Born in Beirut and raised in Toronto, Reeves made his acting debut in the Canadian television series Hanjin in 1984, before making his feature film debut in Young Blood, 1986. He had his breakthrough role in the science fiction comedies Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989, and Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, 1991. He gained praise for playing a hustler in the independent drama My Own Private Idaho, 1991, and established himself as an action hero with leading roles in Point Break, 1991, and Speed, 1994. Following several box office disappointments, Reeves's performance in the horror film The Devil's Advocate, 1997, was well received. Greater stardom came with his role as Neo in The Matrix, 1999. Reeves became the highest-paid actor for a single production for reprising the role in its 2003 sequels Reloaded and Revolutions. He also played John Constantine in Constantine, 2005. Reeves made his film directorial debut with Man of Tai Chi, 2013. Following a period in which he enjoyed limited commercial success, he made a career comeback by playing the titular assassin in the action film series John Wick, 2014, present. Reeves voiced Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4, 2019, and portrayed Johnny Silverhand in the video game Cyberpunk 2077, 2020, as well as its expansion. He has since reprised his roles of Ted in Bill and Ted Face the Music, 2020, and Neo in The Matrix, Resurrections, 2021, and voiced Shadow the Hedgehog in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, 2024. In addition to acting, Reeves is a member of the musical band Dogstar, releasing albums including Somewhere Between the Power Lines and Palm Trees, 2023. He is the co-writer and creator of the BRZRKR franchise, which started with the original comic book, 2021 to 2023, and since expanded to include numerous spin-offs, including the Book of Elsewhere, 2024. An avid motorcyclist, Reeves is the co-founder of the custom manufacturer Arch Motorcycle. He also co-founded the production company Company Films. Early life. Keanu Charles Reeves was born in Beirut, Lebanon, on September 2, 1964, the son of Patricia, née Taylor, a costume designer and performer, and Samuel Nowlin Reeves Jr. His mother is English, originating from Essex. His American father is from Hawaii, and is of native Hawaiian, Chinese, English, and Portuguese descent. 11-5-12 Reeves's paternal grandmother is of Hawaiian and Chinese descent. 13 His mother was working in Beirut when she met his father. 14 They divorced in 1966 when Reeves was young. Reeves last met his father on the Hawaiian island of Kauai when he was 13. 15 After his parents divorced in 1966, his mother moved the family to Sydney, Australia 15-16 and then to New York City, where she married Paul Aaron, a Broadway and Hollywood director, in 1970. 15 The couple moved to Toronto and divorced in 1971. When Reeves was 9, he took part in a theater production of Damn Yankees. 17 Aaron remained close to Reeves, offering him advice and recommending him a job at the Hedgerow Theater in Pennsylvania. 15 Reeves's mother married Robert Miller, a rock music promoter, in 1976, the couple divorced in 1980. Reeves and his sisters grew up primarily in the Yorkville neighborhood of Toronto, with a nanny frequently caring for them. 15-18 Reeves watched British comedy shows such as The Two Ronnies, and his mother imparted English manners that he has maintained into adulthood. 19 Because of his grandmother's Chinese ethnicity, Reeves grew up with Chinese art, furniture, and cuisine. 20. External videos. Video icon Keanu Reeves, Canada's Walk of Fame inductee speech. ATalk YouTube, 7-11 minute. Describing himself as a private kid, 21 Reeves attended 4 different high schools, including the Etobicoke School of the Arts, from which he was expelled. Reeves said he was expelled because he was just a little too rambunctious and shot my mouth off once too often. I was not generally the most well-oiled machine in the school. 22 Reeves has dyslexia and has said, because I had trouble reading, I wasn't a good student. 23 At De La Salle College, he was a successful ice hockey goalkeeper. 24 Reeves had aspirations to play for the Canadian Olympic team and was once considered an old prospect, but his hockey career ended due to injury. 25 At the age of 15, he decided he wanted to become an actor. 26 After leaving De La Salle College, he attended Avondale Secondary Alternative School, which allowed him to get an education while working as an actor. Reeves dropped out of high school when he was 17. 27 He obtained a green card through his American stepfather and moved to Los Angeles 3 years later. 15 Reeves holds only Canadian citizenship. 8-9. Career. 1984 to 1990, early work. Reeves in 1986. In 1984, Reeves was a correspondent for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, youth television program Going Great. 28 That same year, he made his acting debut in an episode of the television series, called Hanjin In. 29 In 1985, he played Mercutio in a stage production of Romeo and Juliet at the Leopold's Theatre in North York, Ontario. 31 He made further appearances on stage, including Brad Fraser's cult hit Wolfboy in Toronto. He also appeared in a Coca-Cola commercial in 1983. 32 And in the National Film Board of Canada, NFB, Coming of Age, short film One Step Away. 33 Reeves later said that, when he was looking for work in the mid-1980s, his agents advised him to go by a different name because his first name was too ethnic. He briefly initialized his first and middle name and attended auditions as Casey or Casey Reeves before reverting to Keanu. 34. In 1986, Reeves made a foray into television films, including NBC's Babes in Toyland, Act of Vengeance and Brotherhood of Justice. He made his first motion picture appearances in Peter Markle's Young Blood, in which he played a goalkeeper, and in the low-budget romantic drama, Flying. He was cast as Matt in River's Edge, a crime drama about a group of high school friends dealing with a murder case, loosely based on the 1981 murder of Marcy Renee Conrad. The film premiered in 1986 at the Toronto International Film Festival to a largely positive response. Janet Maslin of the New York Times describes the performances of the young cast as natural and credible, with Reeves being described as affecting and sympathetic. 35. In 1988, Reeves starred in several dramas aimed at teen audiences, including as the lead in The Night Before, a comedy starring opposite Lori Loughlin, The Prince of Pennsylvania and Permanent Record. Although the latter received mixed reviews, Variety magazine praised Reeves's performance, which opens up nicely as the drama progresses. 36 His other acting efforts included a supporting role in Dangerous Liaisons, which earned 7 nominations at the 61st Academy Awards, winning 3, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Costume Design, and Best Production Design. 37. In 1989, Reeves starred in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, in which he portrays a slacker who travels through time with a friend, portrayed by Alex Winter, to assemble historical figures for a school presentation. The film was generally well received by critics and grossed $40.5 million at the worldwide box office. 38 film review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave the film a 79% approval rating, with the critical consensus: Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are just charming, goofy, and silly enough to make this fluffy time travel adventure work. 39 Reeves then starred in the comedy drama Parenthood, directed by Ron Howard. Nick Hilditch of the BBC gave the film 3 out of 5 stars, calling it a feel-good movie with an extensive and entertaining ensemble cast. 40 In 1990, Reeves gave 2 acting performances. He portrayed an incompetent hitman in the black comedy I Love You to Death, and played Martin, a radio station employee in the comedy Tune In Tomorrow. He also appeared in Paula Abdul's music video for Rush Rush, which featured a rebel without a cause, 1955, motif, with him in the James Dean role. 41. 1991 to 1994, breakthrough with mature roles. In 1991, Reeves starred in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, a sequel to Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, with his co-star Winter. Michael Wilmington of the Los Angeles Times wrote that the sequel was more imaginative, more opulent, wilder, and freer, more excitingly visualized, praising the actors for their fuller performances. 42 Film critic Roger Ebert thought it was a riot of visual invention and weird humor that works on its chosen submoronic level. It's the kind of movie where you start out snickering in spite of yourself, and end up actually admiring the originality that went into creating this hallucinatory slapstick. 43 The rest of 1991 marked a significant transition for Reeves's career as he undertook adult roles. Co-starring with River Phoenix as a street hustler in the adventure My Own Private Idaho, the characters embark on a journey of personal discovery. The story was written by Gus Van Sant, and is loosely based on William Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 1, Henry IV, Part 2, and Henry V. The film premiered at the 48th Venice International Film Festival 44, followed by a theatrical release in the United States on September 29, 1991. The film earned $6.4 million at the box office. 45 My Own Private Idaho was positively received, with Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly describing the film as a postmodern road movie with a mood of free-floating, trance-like despair, a rich, audacious experience. 46 The New York Times complimented Reeves and Phoenix for their insightful performances. 47. Reeves starred alongside Patrick Swayze, Lori Petty, and Gary Busey in the action thriller Point Break, directed by Catherine Bigelow. He plays an undercover FBI agent tasked with investigating the identities of a group of bank robbers. To prepare for the film, Reeves and his co-stars took surfing lessons with professional surfer Dennis Jarvis in Hawaii. Reeves had never surfed before. 48 Upon its release, Point Break was generally well received, and a commercial success, earning $83.5 million at the box office. 49 Reeves's performance was praised by the New York Times for considerable discipline and range, adding, "He moves easily between the buttoned-down demeanor that suits a police procedural story and the loose-jointed manner of his comic roles." 50 Writing for the Washington Post, Hal Hinson called Reeves the perfect choice and praised the surfing scenes, but opined that the filmmakers have their characters make the most ludicrously illogical choices imaginable. 51 At the 1992 MTV Movie Awards, Reeves won the Most Desirable Male Award. 52. In 1991, Reeves developed an interest in a music career. He formed the alternative rock band Dogstar, consisting of members Robert Mailhouse, Greg Miller, and Brett Domrose. Reeves played the bass guitar. A year later, he played Jonathan Harker in Francis Ford Coppola's gothic horror Bram Stoker's Dracula, based on Stoker's 1897 novel Dracula, starring alongside Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, and Anthony Hopkins. The film was critically and commercially successful. It grossed $215.8 million worldwide. 53 For his role, Reeves was required to speak with an English accent, which drew some ridicule. Overly posh and entirely ridiculous, Reeves's performance is as painful as it is hilarious, wrote Limara Sald of Virgin Media. 54 In a retrospective interview in 2015, director Coppola said, "Reeves tried so hard, he wanted to do it perfectly, and in trying to do it perfectly it came off as stilted." 55 Bram Stoker's Dracula was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, winning 3 in Best Costume Design, Best Sound Editing and Best Makeup. 56 The film also received 4 nominations at the British Academy Film Awards. 57 In 1993, he had a role in Much Ado About Nothing, based on Shakespeare's play of the same name. The film received positive reviews. 58 Although Reeves was nominated for a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Supporting Actor. 59 The New Republic magazine thought his casting was unfortunate because of his amateur performance. 60 In that same year, he starred in 2 more drama films, Even Cowgirls Get the Blues and Little Buddha, both of which garnered a mixed to negative reception. 61-62 The Independent critic gave Little Buddha a mixed review but opined that Reeves's part as a prince was credible. 63 The film also left an impression on Reeves. He later said, "When I played this innocent prince who starts to suspect something when he has the first revelations about old age, sickness, and death, it hit me. That lesson has never left me." 64 In 1994, he starred in the action thriller Speed alongside Sandra Bullock and Dennis Hopper. He plays police officer Jack Traven, who must prevent a bus from exploding by keeping its speed above 50 miles per hour. Speed was the directorial debut of Dutch director Jan de Bont. Several actors were considered for the lead role, but Reeves was chosen because de Bont was impressed with his point-break performance. 65 To look the part, Reeves shaved all his hair off and spent 2 months in the gym to gain muscle mass. During production, Reeves's friend, and his My Own Private Idaho co-star River Phoenix died, resulting in adjustments to the filming schedule to allow him to mourn. 65 Speed was released on June 10 to a critically acclaimed response. Gene Siskel of the Chicago Tribune lauded Reeves, calling him absolutely charismatic, giving a performance juiced with joy as he jumps through elevator shafts, and atop a subway train. 66 David Anson, writing for Newsweek, summarized Speed as, "relentless without being overbearing, this is one likely blockbuster that doesn't feel too big for its britches. It's a friendly juggernaut." 67 The film grossed $350 million from a $30 million budget and won 2 Academy Awards in 1995, Best Sound Editing and Best Sound. 68-69 1995 to 1998, Career Fluctuations. "I do love it, Shakespeare. It's like this kind of code that once you start to inhabit it with breath and sound and feeling and thought, it is the most powerful and consuming and freeing at the same time. Just, literally, elemental in sound, consonants and vowels. What I found out in doing it Hamlet was that it brought up for me all the anger that was inside me for my mother. I mean, it surprised me, just what was there, and I hadn't seen that before." Reeves on his Hamlet performance. 70 Reeves's next leading role came in the 1995 cyberpunk action thriller Johnny Mnemonic, directed by artist Robert Longo and based on the 1981 short story by William Gibson. Set in 2021, it is about a man who has a cybernetic brain implant and must deliver a data package before he dies or is killed by the Yakuza. The film received mainly negative reviews and critics felt Reeves was woefully miscast. 71 Roger Ebert opined that the film is one of the great goofy gestures of recent cinema, a movie that doesn't deserve 1 nanosecond of serious analysis but has a kind of idiotic grandeur that makes you almost forgive it. 72 He next appeared in the romantic drama A Walk in the Clouds, which also garnered mixed to negative reviews. 73 Reeves plays a young soldier returning home from World War II, trying to settle down with a woman he married impulsively just before he enlisted. Film critic Miklas opined that A Walk in the Clouds is for the most part a beautiful, well-acted, and emotionally rich picture, whereas Hal Hinson from the Washington Post said, the film has the syrupy, Kodak magic moment look of a Bo Derek movie, and pretty much the same level of substance. 74-75. Besides film work, Reeves retreated briefly to the theater playing Prince Hamlet in a 1995 Manitoba Theatre Centre production of Hamlet in Winnipeg, Manitoba. 76. The Sunday Times critic Roger Lewis believed his performance, writing he quite embodied the innocence, the splendid fury, the animal grace of the leaps and bounds, the emotional violence, that form the Prince of Denmark. He is one of the top 3 Hamlets I have seen, for a simple reason, he is Hamlet. 77. In 1996, Reeves was soon drawn to science fiction roles, appearing in Chain Reaction with co-stars Morgan Freeman, Rachel Weisz, Fred Ward, Kevin Dunn, and Brian Cox. He plays a researcher of a green energy project, who has to go on the run when he is framed for murder. The film gained a mostly negative reaction. Review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes gave it a rating of 16% and described it as a men-on-the-run thriller that mostly sticks to generic formula. 78. Reeves's film choices after Chain Reaction were also critical disappointments. He starred in the independent crime comedy Feeling Minnesota, with Vincent D'Onofrio and Cameron Diaz, which was described as shoddily assembled, and fundamentally miscast by Rotten Tomatoes. 79. Reeves turned down an offer to star in the 1997 film Speed 2, Cruise Control, despite being offered a salary of $12 million. 80. According to Reeves, this decision caused 20th Century Fox to sever ties with him for a decade. 81. In the summer of 1996, Reeves went on tour with Dogstar in Europe. 82. And next appeared in the drama The Last Time I Committed Suicide, based on a 1950 letter written by Neil Cassidy to Jack Kerouac. Reeves's performance gained mixed reviews. Paul Tatera of CNN called him void of talent. Here he is again, reciting his lines as if they're non-related words strung together as a memory exercise. 83. Whereas Empire magazine thought Reeves gives the nearest thing to a performance in his career as the enthusiastic feckless drunk. 84. He starred in the 1997 supernatural horror The Devil's Advocate alongside Al Pacino and Charlize Theron. Reeves agreed to a pay cut of several $1 million so that the film studio could afford to hire Pacino. 85. Based on Andrew Needorman's novel of the same name, the feature is about a successful young lawyer invited to New York City to work for a major firm, who discovers the owner of the firm is a devil. The Devil's Advocate attracted positive reviews from critics. 86. Film critic James Berardinelli called the film highly enjoyable and wrote, "There are times when Reeves lacks the subtlety that would have made this a more multi-layered portrayal, but it's nevertheless a solid job." 87. 1999 to 2004, resurgence with the Matrix franchise and comedies. Reeves promoting The Day the Earth Stood Still in Mexico, 2008. Reeves promoting The Day the Earth Stood Still in Mexico, 2008. In 1999, Reeves starred in the critically acclaimed science fiction film The Matrix, the first installment in what would become the Matrix franchise. 88. Reeves portrays computer programmer Thomas Anderson, a hacker using the alias Neo, who discovers humanity is trapped inside a simulated reality created by intelligent machines. To prepare for the film, which was written and directed by the Wachowskis, Reeves had read Kevin Kelly's Out of Control, The New Biology of Machines, Social Systems, and the Economic World, and Dylan Evans's Ideas on Evolutionary Psychology. The principal cast underwent months of intense training with martial arts choreographer Yun Wu-ping to prepare for the fight scenes. 89. The Matrix proved to be a box office success. Several critics considered it to be one of the best science fiction films of all time. 1991. Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times felt it was a wildly cinematic futuristic thriller that is determined to overpower the imagination, despite perceiving weaknesses in the film's dialogue. 92. Janet Maslin of the New York Times credited Reeves for being a strikingly chic Prada model of an action hero, and thought the martial arts stunts were the film's strongest feature. 93. The Matrix received Academy Awards for Best Film Editing, Best Sound Editing, Best Visual Effects, and Best Sound. 94. After the success of The Matrix, Reeves avoided another blockbuster in favor of the 2000 sports comedy The Replacements. He agreed to a pay cut to enable Gene Hackman to co-star in the film. 85. Against his wishes, Reeves starred in the thriller The Watcher, playing a serial killer who stalks a retired FBI agent. He said that a friend forged his signature on a contract, which he could not prove. He appeared in the film to avoid legal action. 95. Upon its release, the film was critically panned. 96. That year, he had a supporting role in another thriller, Sam Raimi's The Gift, a story about a woman, played by Cate Blanchett, with extrasensory perception asked to help find a young woman who disappeared. The film grossed $44 million worldwide. 97. Film critic Paul Clinton of CNN thought the film was fairly compelling, saying of Reeves's acting, "Raimi managed to get a performance out of Reeves that only occasionally sounds like he's reading his lines from the back of a cereal box." 98. In 2001, Reeves continued to explore and accept roles in a diverse range of genres. The first was a romantic drama, Sweet November, a remake of the 1968 film. This was his second collaboration with Charlize Theron. The film was met with a generally negative reception. 99. Desson Thompson of The Washington Post criticized it for its syrupy cliches, greeting card wisdom, and over-the-top tragicomedy, but commended Reeves for his likability factor in every performance he gives. 100. Later that year, Hardball marked Reeves's attempt in another sports comedy. Directed by Brian Robbins, it is based on the book Hardball, A Season in the Projects by Daniel Coyle. Reeves plays Connor O'Neill, a troubled young man who agrees to coach a little league team from the Cabrini Green housing project in Chicago as a condition of obtaining a loan. Film critic Roger Ebert noted the film's desire to tackle difficult subjects and baseball coaching, but felt it lacked depth, and Reeves's performance was glum and distant. 101. By 2002, his professional music career had come to an end when Dogstar disbanded. The band had released 2 albums during their decade together, Our Little Visionary in 1996 and Happy Ending in 2000. 102. Sometime afterwards, Reeves performed in the band Becky for a year, founded by Dogstar bandmate Male House, but quit in 2005, citing a lack of interest in a serious music career. 103. 104. After being absent from the screen in 2002, Reeves returned to the Matrix sequels in 2003 with The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions, released in May and November, respectively. Principal photography for both films was completed back-to-back, primarily at Fox Studios in Australia. 105. The Matrix Reloaded garnered mostly favorable reviews. John Powers of LA Weekly praised the dazzling pyrotechnics but was critical of certain machine-like action scenes. Of Reeves's acting, Powers thought it was somewhat wooden but felt he has the ability to exude a charmed aura. 106. Andrew Walker, writing for the Evening Standard, praised the cinematography. Visually it gives full value as a virtuoso workout for your senses, but he was less taken by the film's dime store philosophy. 107. The film grossed $739 million worldwide. 108. The Matrix Revolutions, the third installment, was met with mixed reception. According to review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, the consensus was that characters and ideas take a backseat to the special effects. 109. Paul Clinton, writing for CNN, praised the special effects but felt Reeves's character was unfocused. 110. In contrast, the San Francisco Chronicle's Carla Meyer was highly critical of the special effects, writing, "The Wachowskis' computer-generated imagery goes from dazzling to deadening in action scenes that favor heavy, clanking weaponry over the martial arts moves that thrilled viewers of The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded." 111. Nevertheless, the film grossed $427 million worldwide, although less than the 2 previous films. 112 Something's Gotta Give, a romantic comedy, was Reeves's last release of 2003. He co-starred with Jack Nicholson and Diane Keaton, and played Dr. Julian Mercer in the film. Something's Gotta Give received generally favorable reviews. 113. 2005 to 2013, thrillers, documentaries, and directorial debut. Reeves, dressed in a gray suit, waving to the crowd at the Berlin Film Festival, February 2009. Reeves at the Berlin International Film Festival in 2009. In 2005, Reeves played John Constantine in Constantine, an occult detective film, about a man who has the ability to perceive and communicate with half angels and half demons. The film was a respectable box office hit, grossing $230 million worldwide from a $100 million budget, but attracted mixed to positive reviews. 114 The Sydney Morning Herald's critic wrote that Constantine isn't bad, but it doesn't deserve any imposing adjectives. It's occasionally cheesy, sometimes enjoyable, intermittently scary, and constantly spiked with celestial blatherskite. 115 He next appeared in Thumbsucker, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2005. 116 A comedy adapted from the 1999 novel by Walter Kern, the story follows a boy with a thumb-sucking problem. Reeves and the cast garnered positive critical reviews, with the Washington Post describing it as a gently stirring symphony about emotional transition filled with lovely musical passages and softly nuanced performances. 117. In 2006, Reeves appeared in the Richard Linklater-directed animated science fiction thriller A Scanner Darkly, which premiered at the 2006 Cannes Film Festival. 118 Reeves played Bob Arctor/Fred, an undercover agent in a futuristic dystopia under high-tech police surveillance. Based on the 1977 novel by Philip K. Dick, the film was a box office failure. 119 However, the film attracted generally favorable reviews. Paul Arendt of the BBC thought the film was beautiful to watch, but that Reeves was outshone by his co-star Robert Downey Jr. 121 His next role was Alex Weiler in The Lake House, a romantic drama adaptation of the 2000 South Korean film Il Mare, which reunited him with Sandra Bullock. Despite its box office success, 122 Mark Kermode of The Guardian was highly critical, writing this syrup-drenched supernatural whimsy achieves stupidity at a genuinely international level. The last time Bullock and Reeves were together on screen, the result was Speed. This should have been entitled Stop. 123 Towards the end of 2006, he co-narrated The Great Warming with Alanis Morissette, a documentary about climate change mitigation. 124. In 2008, Reeves collaborated with director David Ayer on the crime thriller Street Kings. He played an undercover policeman who must clear his name after the death of another officer. Released on April 11, the film grossed a moderate $66 million worldwide. 125 The film's plot and Reeves' performance, however, were met with mostly unenthusiastic reviews. Paul Burns of the Sydney Morning Herald stated, "It's full of twists and turns, a dead body in every reel, but it's not difficult to work out who's betraying whom, and that's just not good enough." 126 The Guardian opined that Reeves is fundamentally blank and uninteresting. 127 Reeves starred in another science fiction film, The Day the Earth Stood Still, a loose adaptation of the 1951 film. He portrayed Claytu, an alien sent from outer space to try to change human behavior or eradicate humans because of their environmental impact. At the 2009 Razzie Awards, the film was nominated for Worst Prequel, Remake, Rip-Off or Sequel. 128 Many critics were unimpressed with the heavy use of special effects. The Telegraph credited Reeves's ability to engage the audience, but thought the cinematography was abysmal and the sub-Al Gore environment lecture leaves you lightheaded with tedium. 129-130. Reeves and Tiger Chen, 2013. Tiger Chen and Reeves at the 2013 Fantastic Fest. Rebecca Miller's The Private Lives of Pipoli was Reeves's sole release of 2009, which premiered at the 59th Berlin International Film Festival. 131 The romantic comedy and its ensemble received an amicable review from The Telegraph's David Gridden. Miller's film is a triumph. Uniformly well acted, it boasts a psychologically knowing script, clearly written by a smart, assertive human. 132 In 2010, he starred in another romantic comedy, Henry's Crime, about a man who is released from prison for a crime he did not commit, but then targets the same bank with his former cellmate. The film was not a box office hit. 133 Reeves's only work in 2011 was an adult picture book titled Ode to Happiness, which he wrote, complemented by Alexandra Grant's illustrations. 134 135 Reeves co-produced and appeared in a 2012 documentary, Side by Side. He interviewed filmmakers including James Cameron, Martin Scorsese, and Christopher Nolan. The feature investigated digital and photochemical film creation. 136 Reeves then starred in Generation an independent drama which was critically panned. 137. In 2013, Reeves starred in his own directorial debut, the martial arts film Man of Tai Chi. The film has multilingual dialogue and follows a young man drawn to an underground fight club, partially inspired by the life of Reeves' friend Tiger Chen. Principal photography took place in China and in Hong Kong. Reeves was also assisted by Yuen Woo-ping, the fight choreographer of the Matrix films. 138 Man of Tai Chi premiered at the Beijing Film Festival and the Cannes Film Festival 139-140 and received praise from director John Woo. 141 A wider, warm response followed suit. Bilge Eberi of Vulture thought the fight sequences were beautifully assembled, and Reeves showed restraint with the film editing to present the fighters' motion sequences. 142 The Los Angeles Times wrote, the brutally efficient shooting style Reeves employs to film master choreographer Yuen Woo-ping's breathtaking fights, is refreshingly grounded and old-school kinetic. 143 While Dave McGinn of the Globe and Mail called the film ambitious but generic. 144 At the box office, Man of Tai Chi was a commercial disappointment, grossing only $5.5 million worldwide from a budget of $25 million. 145 146 Also in 2013, Reeves played Kai in the fantasy 47 Ronin, a Japanese fable about a group of rogue samurai. The film premiered in Japan but failed to gain traction with audiences. Reviews were not positive, causing Universal Pictures to reduce advertising for the film elsewhere. 47 Ronin was a box office flop and was mostly poorly received. 147. 2014 to 2022, Resurgence with John Wick. In 2014, after another series of commercial failures, Reeves made a career comeback, playing the title role in the action thriller John Wick, directed by Chad Stahelski. In the first installment of the John Wick franchise, Reeves plays a retired hitman seeking vengeance. He worked closely with the screenwriter to develop the story. We all agreed on the potential of the project. I love the role, but you want the whole story, the whole ensemble to come to life, Reeves said. 148 Filmed on location in the New York City area, the film was eventually released on October 24 in the United States. 149 The Hollywood Reporter was impressed by the director's confident, muscular action debut, and Reeves's effortless performance, which marked his return to the action genre. 150 Jeanette Katsoulis of the New York Times praised Reeves's fight scenes and wrote he is always more comfortable in roles that demand cool over hot, attitude over emotion. 151 John Wick proved to be a box office success, grossing $86 million worldwide. 152 In 2015, Reeves starred in a smaller-scale horror feature, Knock Knock, a remake of the 1977 film Death Game. Described as over-the-top destruction by the Toronto Star, Reeves plays a father, home alone, when two young women show up and start a game of cat and mouse. 153 His other releases in 2015 were the documentaries Deep Web, about crime on the dark web, and Mifune, The Last Samurai, about the life of Toshiro Mifune, famous for playing samurai characters. He narrated both films. 155 Reeves appeared in 5 film releases in 2016. The first was Exposed, a crime thriller about a detective who investigates his partner's death and discovers police corruption along the way. The film received negative reviews for its confused plot, and Reeves was criticized for displaying limited facial expressions. 157 His next release, the comedy Keanu, was better received. 158 In it he voiced the eponymous kitten. Reeves then had a minor role in The Neon Demon, a psychological horror directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. He played Hank, a lustful motel owner who appears in Jesse's, played by Elle Fanning, Nightmare. 159 In his fourth release, he played a charismatic leader of a settlement in The Bad Batch. 160 His final release of the year was The Whole Truth, featuring Gabriel Basso, Gugum Bathara, Renee Zellweger, and Jim Belushi. He played Richard, a defense attorney. Noel Murray of the AV Club described it as moderately clever, reasonably entertaining courtroom drama, with a skilled cast but overall a mundane film. 161 Reeves also appeared in Swedish Dicks, a 2-season web television series. 162 In 2017, Reeves agreed to reprise his role for a sequel in the John Wick franchise, John Wick, Chapter 2. The story carries on from the first film and follows John Wick as he goes on the run when a bounty is placed on him. The film was a critical and commercial success, grossing $171.5 million worldwide, more than its predecessor. 163 Chris Hewitt of Empire magazine praised Reeves's performance, which complemented his previous action roles in Point Break and Speed. 164 However, Justin Chang of the Los Angeles Times described the picture as a down and dirty B picture with a lustrous A picture soul. 165 Reeves then starred in a drama, To the Bone, in which he plays a doctor helping a young woman with anorexia. It premiered at the 2017 Sundance Film Festival, followed by distribution on Netflix in July. 167 Early reviews were positive, with praise for its non-glamorized portrayal of anorexia, although the New Statesman magazine thought it was irresponsible. 168 That year, Reeves also made cameo appearances in the films A Happening of Monumental Proportions and SPF 18. 169 170 In 2018, Reeves reunited with Winona Ryder in the comedy Destination Wedding, about wedding guests who develop a mutual affection for each other. They had worked together previously in Bram Stoker's Dracula, A Scanner Darkly and The Private Lives of Pippa Lee. Reeves also co-produced and starred in 2 thrillers. Siberia, in which he plays a diamond trader who travels to Siberia to search for his Russian partner, and Replicas, which tells the story of a neuroscientist who violates laws and bioethics to bring his family back to life after they die in a car crash. Siberia was critically panned. Reviewers thought the plot was nonsensical and Reeves had little chemistry with co-star Anna Olaru. 171 172 Replicas did not fare well with critics either. The AV Club praised Reeves's performance, but gave the film a grade D, adding it is garbage. 173 It was also a box office failure, earning $9.3 million from a budget of $30 million. 173 174 Reeves in 2019. In 2019, Reeves starred in John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, the third film in the series directed by Stahelski. The film takes place immediately after the events of John Wick, Chapter 2 and features new cast members including Halle Berry. The film was another box office hit, grossing $171 million in the United States and more than $155 million internationally. 175 The Globe and Mail's reviewer gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, praising the fight scenes, but felt there was aesthetic overindulgence with the cinematography. 176 The Guardian's Kath Clark questioned Reeves's acting. She wrote that he keeps his face statue still. 3 movies in, franchise bloat is beginning to set in. 177 Reeves was nominated for Favorite Male Movie Star of 2019 in the People's Choice Awards, and the film itself was nominated for Best Contemporary Film in the Art Directors Guild Awards. 178 179 Reeves then voiced Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4, the 4th installment of Pixar's Toy Story franchise. 180 In that same year on April 27 and 28, a film festival was held in his honor, called KeenUCon, hosted in Glasgow, Scotland. 181 Over 2 days, 9 of his films were screened for guests. 182 Also in 2019, Reeves played a supporting role as himself in the Ali Wong-led romantic comedy Always Be My Maybe. 183 In 2019, Reeves traveled to Sao Paulo to produce a Netflix series, Conquest. 184 185 Footage shot for the project would remain in development hell for years due to creator Carl Rinch's erratic behavior and mental health state, which caused him to miss several deadlines and enter litigation with Netflix over the rights to the series. 186. As early as 2008, Reeves and Alex Winter had shown enthusiasm for a third Bill and Ted film, but the project went into development limbo. 187 In 2020, the third film in the franchise Bill and Ted Face the Music was released. 188 189 The critic from Salon magazine was disappointed in Reeves's performance, but praised the film for its message that music has the power to unite the world. 190 Leah Greenblatt of Entertainment Weekly gave the film a grade B, and complimented the on-screen chemistry between Reeves and Winter. 191 He also appeared in the SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run as a tumbleweed named Sage. 192 Reeves appears as Johnny Silverhand in the video game Cyberpunk 2077. 193 194 In December 2021, Reeves returned to the screen for the 4th film in the Matrix franchise, The Matrix Resurrections. Carrie-Anne Moss also reprised her role as Trinity. 195 196 The Matrix Resurrections was a box office disappointment. 197 One critic praised Reeves's and Moss's performances, but thought the film was a no game changer. 198. 2023, Present, Career Progression and Books. In 2023, Reeves reprised his role as the title character in John Wick, Chapter 4. 199 It received critical acclaim. Several reviewers cited the film among the greatest action films ever made. 200 201 202 He also reprised his role as Johnny Silverhand in the Cyberpunk 2077 expansion, Phantom Liberty. 203 A comic book series, BRZRKR, co-written by Reeves, was published in 3 volumes starting in March 2021 and concluding in October 2023. 204 Issue number 1 sold over 615,000 copies, making it the top-selling single issue since Star Wars number 1 in 2015. 205 206 Reeves performing with Dogstar in 2024. After occasional jam sessions in the years following Dogstar's dissolution, the band began recording new songs during the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, which turned into album, Somewhere Between the Power Lines and Palm Trees, 2023. 207 Following their first performance in 20 years at Bottle Rock Napa Valley Music Festival, 208 Reeves and the band embarked on a 25-date tour in North America and Japan in support of the album, beginning August 10 in Hermosa Beach, California. 209, 210, 211 in July. Boom. Studios published the first issue of BRZRKR, Bloodlines, titled Poetry of Madness. 212 Reeves appeared as the featured guest for the Season 6 premiere episode of Ride with Norman Reedus, titled The Utah Desert with Keanu Reeves. 213 Cinema Blends Nick Venable said, "The installment makes for some truly heartwarming viewing for anyone who needs something to smile about." 214 In November 2023, Reeves appeared as the host and executive producer for the 4-part documentary series Brawn, The Impossible Formula One story for Hulu and Disney+. 215 Jack Seal of The Guardian felt that Reeves was there to humanize the story, and pointed out his numerous adorable habits that most interviewers would deem unprofessional, but which don't offend. He felt that much of the emotion in the series owed to the way he gets his interviewees to open up. He often asks an emotion-based question, how did someone feel about what they did, rather than just what did they do. 216 At the end of that month, boom. Studios published the second comic in the BRZRKR, Bloodline series, entitled Fallen Empire. 217. In May 2024, Netflix won litigation over the rights to the Reeves-produced Conquest series, with the footage reverting to their ownership alongside being reimbursed for $8.78 million worth of creator Carl Eric Rinch's misused production money. 218 That June, Reeves and Dogstar announced their summer vacation tour, with shows scheduled from August to September in the US and Canada. 219 On July 23, 2024, Reeves published a novel, The Book of Elsewhere, co-written with China Mevely, a telling of the story of BRZRKR. 220 221 The first issue of the second volume of the Bloodline series, A Faceful of Bullets, written with Jason Aaron and art by Francesco Manna, was released the following day after a delay from June. 222 223 Another BRZRKR Bloodlines spin-off, titled The Lost Book of B, released on August 21, 2024. 224 He joined Graham Hancock in the second season of the series Ancient Apocalypse on Netflix, where he discussed his insights into storytelling as an act of preserving culture. 225 In October 2024, Reeves made his motorsport debut in the Toyota GR Cup North America, where he finished in 25th and 24th place in Race 1 and 2, respectively, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 226 227 Reeves starred in the Armored Core episode of the animated anthology series Secret Level. 228 In April, Reeves was cast as the voice of Shadow the Hedgehog in the third installment of the Sonic the Hedgehog film series, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which released on December 20, 2024. He also voiced the character in a DLC for the video game Shadow Generations, developed as a tie-in for the film. 229 230. In January 2025, Reeves had an uncredited role voicing a stop-motion Lumen building in the second season of the television series Severance. 231 In June 2025, Reeves reprised his role as John Wick in the series spin-off film Ballerina, starring Ana de Armas. 232 233 Reeves then appeared in the comedy Good Fortune, starring alongside Seth Rogen and Aziz Ansari, the latter's directorial debut. 234 Writing about Reeves' performance, the critic from Rolling Stone thought it was divine. 235 In September 2025, Reeves made his Broadway debut in a production of Waiting for Godot directed by Jamie Lloyd, alongside Bill and Ted co-star Alex Winter. 236. Upcoming projects. Reeves will star in Jonah Hill's upcoming black comedy film Outcome on Apple TV+. 237 238 Reeves is set to star in Ruben Östlund's satire film The Entertainment System is Down. 239 Reeves will co-produce a documentary about the life of Benny Urquidez, directed by Jennifer Teixeira. 240. A film adaptation of BRZRKR written by Mattson Tomlin and produced by and starring Reeves is being developed for Netflix, with Reeves open to the possibility of directing. 241-242 After the release of the film, a 2-season anime series also planned for release on Netflix and produced by Production I.G is planned to follow. 243 A fifth film in the John Wick series is currently in the works at Lionsgate with Chad Stahelski set to return as director. 244-245 Besides plans for a fifth film, a sequel television series titled John Wick, Under the High Table is being developed with Reeves attached as an executive producer. 246 Reeves and former co-star Sandra Bullock are attached to star in a romantic thriller being produced by Amazon MGM. 247 Personal life. Alexandra Grant in May 2014. In 1998, Reeves met director David Lynch's assistant Jennifer Syme at a party thrown for his band Dogstar, and they started dating. 248 On December 24, 1999, Syme gave birth 8 months into her pregnancy to the couple's child, who was stillborn. The couple broke up several weeks afterward, but later reconciled. 249 On April 2, 2001, Syme was killed when her vehicle collided with 3 parked cars on Cahuenga Boulevard in Los Angeles. Syme had been under the influence and also not belted in. 250-251 Reeves told investigators that they were back together 249 and had brunch together in San Francisco the day before the accident. 250 Reeves acted as a pallbearer for Syme 250 who was buried next to their daughter. 252 He was scheduled to film the sequels to The Matrix the following spring, but sought peace and time, according to friend Brett Domrose of Dogstar. 250 Reeves has also been romantically linked to longtime friend and filmmaker Brenda Davis, to whose child he is godfather. 253 254 255 and model actress China Chow. 256 257 Reeves also maintains a close friendship with his Bram Stoker's Dracula co-star Winona Ryder. After taking part in a wedding scene with a Romanian priest for the film, they still call each other husband and wife when speaking personally. 258 In 2009, Reeves met Alexandra Grant at a dinner party. They went on to collaborate on 2 books together. 259-260 They went public with their relationship in November 2019. 261 Reeves is discreet about his spiritual beliefs, saying that it is something personal and private. 262 When asked if he was a spiritual person, he said that he believes in God, faith, inner faith, the self, passion, and things, and that he is very spiritual. 263 Although he does not formally practice Buddhism, the religion has left a strong impression on him, especially after filming Little Buddha. 64 He said, "Most of the things I've come away with from Buddhism have been human understanding feelings, impermanence, and trying to understand other people and where they're coming from." 64 In 2024, Reeves spoke on his thoughts about mortality, saying, "I'm thinking about death all the time. That's a good thing. Hopefully it's not crippling, but hopefully it sensitizes us to an appreciation of the breath we have, and the relationships that we have the potential to have." 264 In 1988, Reeves was injured in a motorcycle accident while riding in Topanga. He had to undergo a splenectomy. 265-266 Reeves was injured again on his motorcycle in 1996 when he swerved to avoid a car that pulled out from the curb. 267 In 2023, the lipopeptide kinemycin, a substance deadly to fungi, was named in honor of Reeves. 268 Business and philanthropy. Mural of Reeves in Santiago de Chile. Reeves supports several charities and causes. In response to his sister's battle with leukemia, he founded a private cancer foundation, which aids children's hospitals and provides cancer research. 269-270 He prefers for the foundation to operate privately, stating in a 2009 interview that he does not like to attach his name to it. 271 In June 2020, he volunteered for Camp Rainbow Gold, an Idaho children's cancer charity. 272 Reeves was also recognized as one of the 100 influential celebrities in oncology by OncoDaily. 273 Reeves has said, "Money is the last thing I think about. I could live on what I have already made for the next few centuries." 274 It was rumored that Reeves gave away a substantial portion, estimated to be $35 to $125 million, of his earnings from The Matrix to the special effects and makeup crews. However, this has been significantly embellished. Reeves negotiated a smaller deal, relinquishing his contractual right to a percentage of the sequel's profits in exchange for a more extensive special effects budget. 276 During production on that film, Reeves heard that a crew member was having family trouble, and elected to gift the man $20,000 to help him with his finances. 277 As a wrap gift for the 12-person stunt team of The Matrix Reloaded, 2003, Reeves purchased Harley-Davidson motorcycles for each of the members, saying of the gifts, "I just wanted to give a bigger thank you to all these guys who helped me make this." 279 After filming John Wick, Chapter 4, Reeves, Chad Stahelski and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor Dave Camarillo signed an exclusive training uniform that was put up for auction in March 2023 to raise money for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. 280 Reeves also presented his personal stunt team for the film with engraved custom Rolex Submariner watches, and bought the larger Chapter 4 stunt crews each personalized t-shirts indicating how many times that the various extras they portrayed died in the film. 279 In 2024, Reeves signed a one-day contract with the Windsor Spitfires, and signed items which were auctioned off in benefit of the Canadian Mental Health Association of Windsor, Essex. 281. Reeves co-founded a production company, Company Films, with friend Stephen Hamill. 282 In 2011, Reeves, an avid motorcyclist, co-founded Arch Motorcycle Company, which builds and sells custom motorcycles, with Gard Hollinger. 284 In 2017, Reeves, Jessica Fleischman, and Alexandra Grant founded book publisher, X Artists Books, also known as XAB. 259 He has written 2 books with Grant, Ode to Happiness and Shadows. He provided the text to her photographs and art. 286. In the media. Reeves star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Reeves star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In a 2005 article for Time magazine, Lev Grossman called Reeves Hollywood's ultimate introvert. 287 He has been described as a workaholic, charming, and excruciatingly shy. During the production of Constantine, director Francis Lawrence commented on his personality, calling him hardworking and generous. His co-star Shia LaBeouf said, "I've worked with him for a year and a couple of months, but I don't really know him that much." 287 Erwin Stoff of 3 Arts Entertainment has served as Reeves's agent and manager since he was 16, and produced many of his films. Stoff said Reeves is a really private person and keeps his distance from other people. 288 In 2023, Reeves's frequent collaborator Lawrence Fishburne remarked on him, "He's kinder, yeah. He's much kinder than people say he is. He's a very gentle, highly intelligent man. Really thoughtful and gifted and incredibly patient. Yeah, he has a lot of grace, Keanu." 289. Aziz Ansari, who directed and starred with Reeves in Good Fortune, joked that he actually is an angel, and that he's been pretending to be human for all these other roles. 290. In a 2024 interview with People magazine, Hiroyuki Sanada said, "He is so humble, very kind to others but very hard on himself. He's always trying to do his best, aim higher, move forward." 291. In 2010, an image of Reeves became an internet meme after photographs of him were published, sitting on a park bench with a sad facial expression. The images were posted on the 4chan discussion board and were soon distributed via several blogs and media outlets, leading to the sad Keanu meme being spread on the internet. An unofficial holiday was created when a Facebook fan page declared June 15th as Cheer Up Keanu Day. 292. He would later downplay the photo, saying, "Man, I was eating a sandwich. I was thinking I had some stuff going on. I was hungry." 293. Reeves's casual persona and ability to establish rapport have been observed by the public, leading him to be dubbed the internet's boyfriend. 294. 295. 296. In 2019, Vox named Reeves's unorthodox filmography and ability to appeal to nerd culture as the primary reasons for his internet popularity. 297. The Guardian noted that he holds a reputation as one of the nicest, humblest guys on the Hollywood A-list. 221. And the BBC wrote that he is known for his gentle, mild-mannered persona, and is often described as the nicest man in Hollywood. 298. Time dubbed Reeves as the master of the fan encounter. 299. And Snopes observed that he is so beloved that he's a cultural fixture. 300. In March 2019, Reeves went viral after his United Airlines flight to Burbank, California was grounded in Bakersfield. Taking initiative in arranging alternate travel plans, Reeves boarded a travel van with the other passengers. Reeves read fun facts from his phone about Bakersfield to the passengers, and later used YouTube to share 1950s American country music that was native to the town. 301. Time said of the events, "One thing's for certain after this eventful trip, if you're looking for a road trip buddy, Keanu Reeves should be on the top of your list." 302. Reeves again gained media attention in May when his appearance on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert went viral. Colbert asked at the end of the show about his views on death, then Reeves answered, "I know that the ones who love us will miss us." The response incited an emotional reaction from the audience, and Colbert shook Reeves's hand before wrapping up the show. 303. Vice's River Donaghy declared that Keanu is my new religion in response to the clip, and called the moment transcendent. 304. The New Yorker called it a response so wise, so genuinely thoughtful, that it seemed like a rebuke to the usual canned blather of late-night television. Staff writer Naomi Fry recounted that she felt like she was standing alone in a rock garden, having a koan whispered into her ear after watching the viral clip on Twitter. 305. The interaction would later inspire science communicator Hank Green to end his Pissing Out Cancer comedy special, based on his experiences fighting Hodgkin's lymphoma, with a quote inspired by Reeves's answer, "Either way, what comes next is going to be beautiful." In choosing the ending, he felt that Reeves's words reflected a larger understanding of the human experience. 306. While filming Bill and Ted Face the Music in July 2019, Reeves and other cast members came across a house with a banner reading "You're breathtaking and many Keanu," two memes that had come out of Reeves's appearance at the Electronic Entertainment Expo 2019 for the game Cyberpunk 2077. Reeves took time to sign the banner, and talk to the family. 307. Business Insider reported that the actor's fans were quick to praise him in response to the incident, calling him good guy Keanu and lauding him as the best human on the planet. 308. Reeves appeared on Forbes' annual Celebrity 100 list in 2001 and 2002, at number 36 and 49, respectively. 309. 310. In 2005, Reeves received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame for his contributions to the motion picture industry. 311. In 2016, The Hollywood Reporter calculated that Reeves had earned $250 million for the Matrix franchise, making him one of the highest-paid actors. 312 in 2020, the New York Times ranked him at number 4 on its list of the 25 greatest actors of the 21st century. 313. In 2022, Reeves's recitation of the beat poem Pull My Daisy for a virtual benefit concert for Tibet House US, a non-profit organization affiliated with the exiled Tibetan spiritual leader, the Dalai Lama, stirred a negative reaction from users on Chinese social media. 314, 315, 316 Reeves's films were subsequently banned from streaming platforms in China, including iQIYI, Tencent Video, and Youku. 317, 318. A popular internet meme asserts that Reeves is secretly immortal and has lived throughout the last millennia under the identities of several historical figures, including Charlemagne, and French actor Paul Mounet. 319. The meme came to media prominence in 2017 when Reeves was asked on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon about it. Reeves addressed his resemblance with Charlemagne, saying, "We have a likeness in the eyes, and the nose and the mustache and the beard and the cheekbones and the forehead." 320, 321. When asked in a Q&A event for John Wick, Chapter 4 if he ever ages, Reeves responded, "Yeah man, I age. I age. It's happening, man." 322. In 2023, a website dedicated to chronicling every time Reeves has spoken the word woe in his film career was created by web developer Avi Mamenko to honor him. 323. In 2022, Time magazine named him one of the 100 most influential people in the world. 324. Filmography and awards. Main articles: Keanu Reeves filmography and awards and nominations. Reeves, right, receiving the Inkpot Award in 2024. Prolific in film since 1985, Reeves's most acclaimed and highest-grossing films, according to the review aggregate site Rotten Tomatoes, include River's Edge, 1987, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, 1989, My Own Private Idaho, 1991, Much Ado About Nothing, 1993, Speed, 1994, The Matrix, 1999, John Wick, 2014, John Wick, Chapter 2, 2017, John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, 2019, and Toy Story 4, 2019. 325. Reeves has won 4 MTV Movie Awards, 52, 326, 327, and received 2 Best Actor nominations at the Saturn Awards. 328. He was nominated twice for a People's Choice Award, Favorite Male Movie Star and Favorite Action Movie Star, for his performance in John Wick, Chapter 3, Parabellum, 2019. 329. In November 2015, People retroactively named him 1994's Sexiest Man Alive. 330. In September 2021, Taekwondo Life magazine deemed Reeves the #1 martial arts movie star in the world based upon his multiple films in the genre, their popularity, and sheer box office gross. 331. In 2024, Gold House honored him on its Most Impactful Asians A100 list 332, and he was presented with the Inkpot Award for lifetime contributions to movies, TV, comics, and books at San Diego Comic-Con. 333. Written works. Reeves, Keanu, 2011. Burgum, Janie, ed. Ode to Happiness. Alexandra Grant, Drawings and Book Design. Göttingen, Steedle Publishers. ISBN 9783869302096. OCLC 7567977130. Reeves, Keanu, 2014. Shadows, a collaborative project by Alexandra Grant and Keanu Reeves. Alexandra Grant, Photographs. Göttingen, Steedle Publishers. ISBN 9783869308272. OCLC 965117169. Dennis Lee Hopper, May 17, 1936 to May 29, 2010, was an American actor, filmmaker, photographer, and visual artist. He is considered one of the key figures of the New Hollywood era. He earned prizes from the Cannes Film Festival and Venice International Film Festival, as well as nominations for 2 Academy Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award and 2 Golden Globe Awards. Hopper studied acting at the Old Globe Theater in San Diego and the Actors Studio in New York. He made his first television appearance in 1954, and soon after appeared in 2 of the films that made James Dean famous, Rebel Without a Cause, 1955, and Giant, 1956. He then played supporting roles in films such as Gunfight at the OK Corral, 1957, The Sons of Katie Elder, 1965, Cool Hand Luke, 1967, Hang 'Em High, 1968, and True Grit, 1969. Hopper made his directorial film debut with Easy Rider, 1969, which he and co-star Peter Fonda wrote with Terry Southern. The film earned Hopper a Cannes Film Festival Award for Best Debut, and an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Screenplay. He also began a prolific and acclaimed photography career in the 1960s. 156. He became frequently typecast as mentally disturbed outsiders and rebels in such films as Mad Dog Morgan, 1976, The American Friend, 1977, Apocalypse Now, 1979, Rumblefish, 1983, and Blue Velvet, 1986. He received an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor nomination for his role in Hoosiers, 1986. His later film roles included True Romance, 1993, Speed, 1994, Waterworld, 1995, and Elegy, 2009. He appeared posthumously in the long-delayed The Other Side of the Wind, 2018, which had previously been filmed in the early 1970s. 7/8. Other directorial credits for Hopper include The Last Movie, 1971, Out of the Blue, 1980, Colors, 1988, and The Hot Spot, 1990. He received Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Limited Series or Movie nomination for his role in Paris Trout, 1991. His other television roles include in the HBO film Double Crossed, 1991, 24, 2002, the NBC series Earring, 2005 to 2006, and the Starz series Crash, 2008 to 2009. Early life and education. Dennis Lee Hopper was born on May 17, 1936, in Dodge City, Kansas, to Marjorie May, née Davis, July 12, 1917 to January 12, 2007, 9 and J. Millard Hopper 10, June 23, 1916 to August 7, 1982. He had Scottish ancestors. 11 Hopper had 2 younger brothers, Marvin and David. 12. After World War II, the family moved to Kansas City, Missouri, where the young Hopper attended Saturday art classes at the Kansas City Art Institute. When he was 13, Hopper and his family moved to San Diego, where his mother worked as a lifeguard instructor and his father was a post office manager, having previously served in the Office of Strategic Services, the precursor to the Central Intelligence Agency, in World War II in the China-Burma-India Theater. 13-14 Hopper was voted most likely to succeed at Helix High School, where he was active in the drama club, speech, and choir. 15 It was there that he developed an interest in acting, studying at the Old Globe Theater in San Diego, and the Actors Studio in New York City. He studied with Lee Strasberg for 5 years. Hopper struck up a friendship with actor Vincent Price, whose passion for art influenced Hopper's interest in art. He was especially fond of the plays of William Shakespeare. Career: 1954 to 1966, Early roles. Hopper, aged 20, with actress Karen Sharp in an April 1957 promotional photograph for an episode of the ABC television series Conflict. Hopper was reported to have had an uncredited role in Johnny Guitar in 1954, but he was quoted as saying he was not in Hollywood when the film was made. 16 Hopper made his debut on film in 2 roles with James Dean, whom he admired immensely, in Rebel Without a Cause, 1955, and Giant, 1956. Dean's death in a car accident in September 1955 affected the young Hopper deeply, and it was shortly afterward that he got into a confrontation with veteran director Henry Hathaway on the film From Hell to Texas, 1958. Hopper reportedly forced Hathaway to shoot more than 80 takes of a scene over several days before he acquiesced to Hathaway's direction. After filming was finally completed, Hathaway allegedly told Hopper that his career in Hollywood was finished. 17. In his book Last Train to Memphis, American popular music historian Peter Guralnick says that in 1956, when Elvis Presley was making his first film in Hollywood, Hopper was roommates with fellow actor Nick Adams, and the three became friends and socialized together. In 1959, Hopper moved to New York to study method acting under Lee Strasberg at the Actors Studio. 18. In 1961, Hopper played his first lead role in Night Tide, an atmospheric supernatural thriller involving a mermaid in an amusement park. In a December 1994 interview on The Charlie Rose Show, Hopper credited John Wayne with saving his career, as Hopper acknowledged that because of his insolent behavior, he could not find work in Hollywood for 7 years. Hopper stated that, because of his marriage to Brooke Hayward, he was the son-in-law of actress Margaret Sullivan, a friend of John Wayne, and Wayne hired Hopper for a role in The Sons of Katie Elder, 1965, also directed by Hathaway, which enabled Hopper to restart his film career. 19. Hopper debuted in an episode of the Richard Boone television series Medic in 1955, portraying a young epileptic. He appeared in the first episode of the TV series The Rifleman, 1958 to 1963, as the troubled orphan protagonist Vernon Tippett, who is exploited by his greedy uncle. The series starred Chuck Connors, and the premiere episode The Sharpshooter was written by Sam Peckinpah. 20. Hopper subsequently appeared in over 140 episodes of television shows such as Gunsmoke, Bonanza, Petticoat Junction, The Twilight Zone, The Barbara Stanwyck Show, The Defenders, The Investigators, The Legend of Jesse James, Entourage, The Big Valley, The Time Tunnel, and Combat. 1967 to 1986, Breakthrough and Acclaim. Hopper with second wife Michelle Phillips in 1970, during editing of the last movie. Hopper had a supporting role as the bet taker, Babalu Gatz, in Cool Hand Luke, 1967. In 1968, Hopper teamed with Peter Fonda, Terry Southern, and Jack Nicholson to make Easy Rider, which premiered in July 1969. With the release of True Grit a month earlier, Hopper had starring roles in 2 major box office films that summer. Hopper won wide acclaim as the director for his improvisational methods and innovative editing for Easy Rider. 21. The production was plagued by creative differences and personal acrimony between Fonda and Hopper, the dissolution of Hopper's marriage to Brooke Hayward, his unwillingness to leave the editor's desk, and his accelerating abuse of drugs and alcohol. 22. Hopper said of Easy Rider, "The cocaine problem in the United States is really because of me. There was no cocaine before Easy Rider on the street. After Easy Rider, it was everywhere." 23. Besides showing drug use on film, it was one of the first films to portray the hippie lifestyle. Hopper became a role model for some male youths who rejected traditional jobs and traditional American culture, partly exemplified by Fonda's long sideburns and Hopper wearing shoulder-length hair and a long mustache. They were denied rooms in motels and proper service in restaurants as a result of their radical looks. 24. Their long hair became a point of contention in various scenes during the film.